Well, talk to us a little bit about that time period.
Go ahead.
Well, I don't want you to have to edit most of the show out, but
because we were number 3 in the country that year.
Yeah,
it was us, and LSU, and Alabama.
Yeah, it was that year. If we would have beat LSU, we would have went to the national championship.
We would have skipped the SEC championship because Bama would have been the West, and then Bama. Yeah, God, that's crazy.
I've never been so freaking excited ever.
I'd like to welcome everybody to the Coaches in the Mouth pod. Coach Jeff Williams here, along with Coach Braden Cook. Got 2 special guests, our BSN guests this week, Marcus Danenhauer and Mitch Smothers. Looking forward to this. And
well, welcome to the podcast.
Appreciate it.
Yeah,
Thanks for having us.
Yeah. Well, we talked about how y'all coming on, and I kind of showed you just got here, but I found a bunch of our old pictures from our recruiting days. Back in the old high school. That might be a good place to start. Look at this. Remember all these pictures we took?
That is glorious.
We did this is the cop one. The one with us 3 was what, the bulldozer?
Yeah, the bulldozer, yeah.
Did the bulldozer. Were y'all part of that laser tag thing that we went to?
Yes, Fast Lanes.
Fast Lanes.
I remember that, yeah.
Yes. We did some wild little gimmicks back in the day, Coach.
well, but y'all were all over the magazines and all those deals, and having, y'all's group are really one of the first groups, I think, where social media really was really big then, and the magazine part. Talk to me about this outside looking in. You and Mitch grow up in the same town.
You grew up wanting to be a Bulldog, obviously, because it was just the one school then. And I was honored to get to go there and play. It was a good time for sure.
Well, it was, and and you're going in 06 and it splits and that part of it. You're up at Bentonville during this time, and your older brother in 01, he cost me a state championship when I was held right to something about you too, Bray, and you've cost me too, Mitch, on the way too. But anyway, is you kind of, Marcus, hit that where it was really taking off at the beginning. I mean, Coach Lundy got there. I believe in their first year was 05. 06 they win the conference, and the 07 win the conference, and 08 y'all go and win the state championship in that part of. And so you're kind of right there at the beginning of the Bentonville really taking off. Talk to me a little bit about that experience at that time.
It was pretty awesome, to be honest with you. Coach Lundy was probably one of the best coaches I've ever gotten to coach under. He kind of changed the culture there a little bit at Bentonville, and we just kind of were. I guess we were just right there in the right nick of time, I guess, with the right players and everybody. We had the right kind of skill guys there, and we had some big offensive linemen. Because I remember in 08, we were kind of a big offensive line. We were kind of known as being that up front, pound you, run inside zone type of stuff. And, it was really fun. And he just kind of changed our culture a lot, to be honest with you, and changed how we played football there at Bentonville.
It was, and you at the time y'all were one school. Obviously, it's split now, but just the size of it. And y'all were known for your offensive lines there, no doubt. But get into this part. So, and you brought up the recruiting part. You guys coming into your senior year, in high school. You were talking off there. People don't know this about Bray. I was coming through, coaching at the time in. The University of Oklahoma didn't offer anybody. When Barry Switzer was there, they rated the state of Arkansas with Keith Jackson and Eric Mitchell. You guys have no idea. Probably some of those guys are. They were really good players. And then they didn't. We send films to them, and when Bob Stoops was there, they wouldn't come over. They didn't even look at Arkansas kids. And I remember you were a 10th or 11th grader, and they offered you. And the only other guy I ever knew during that time was Matt Jones. And it's kind of a border deal there in Fort Smith. And there's connections. And you got offered by Oklahoma early. And let's go. What was your mindset going about that time? And what are you guys thinking also? Because y'all kind of going through the process also.
Well, we'll start off. We all 3 went through that whole thing really kind of together. And then you look at Kyle Frazier and Brandon Allen, Bowden Stein, Sam Harville was kind of in that group.
Yeah.
And there was kind of a big chunk of us that kind of went through this thing all at once. Yeah, I was going to go to Oklahoma. I'll say that right now. I was Boomer Sooner all the way. I was ready to roll. That's why we went to a Tulsa team camp, and I got an offer from Tulsa. And then after that, I went to the Oklahoma camp and then Auburn. And those were the first three. It's kind of how it all started. So that's why Oklahoma was early. But I did go to that camp. I don't know if that has anything to do with Oklahoma coming into Arkansas a little bit. But we did. We kind of all went through this together. Kind of wild.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of a shock to me when I got my first offer because, I thought I sucked. I didn't think I was good enough to play college. I had pretty low self-confidence back then. But it would have been January of 2010, I believe. I got my first offer. It was actually Missouri. Missouri offered me first, and then Kentucky, and then Arkansas. So those are those came pretty quick. And
didn't Alabama come in on you a little bit too?
They did. Alabama. It was a kind of when like the teleconference and the Skype and all that was getting big. So I did a conference with Saban on I think it was Skype or whatever it was. He offered me, and then the next day Malzahn called and offered me. Or Auburn offered. So it was wild. Because like I said, it was a shock to me. I wasn't expecting any of that at all. But looking back now, I guess, I was a pretty decent player, I guess.
Yeah, you were pretty good. You were pretty good, Mitch.
Not bad.
I remember your senior year, wasn't that you were real good against the Southside Mavericks or Rebels back then. You were a really good player. Mark's, talk to us a little bit about your recruiting. You're part of it also.
Well, I only had one true offer from Arkansas. I got recruited by a lot of other people, but I just never really got to a chance to get out like in the recruiting process as much because I had a job my senior year and my junior year of like high school. I worked during like the football season on Saturdays and stuff like that. So it was kind of hard to get out and do some of the recruiting process. But I always went to the Arkansas ones because they were right here at home. And they offered me on, I think it was like the official day that they could offer me, like of my junior year. And I remember talking to Petrino on the phone and just like sitting there just shaking, my hand shaking because I was so nervous. And I couldn't realize it that my dreams had kind of come true, since I was like 5 years old, watching my brother play football and all that stuff growing up. So
how did that, because you had your brother going through it first a little bit. So did you have kind of an idea? Because we went into this thing blind. I mean,
yeah, I had a good idea kind of going into it a little bit. My brother kind of wanted to let me obviously just see it for what it is and just experience it all for myself and not give me too much insight and all that stuff. But I definitely just getting to see him go through the recruiting process. I knew about the in-home visits. I knew we'd go on like trips and stuff like that to the campuses and, get to meet the players and get to see the locker room and all that stuff. But the recruiting process was, I guess it was pretty simple for me. I kind of knew where I wanted to go. I remember getting offered and my friends being like, "Are you kidding me? You got offered by freaking Arkansas?" Like they were, excited, jumping around. And I was like, well, I think I know where I'm going to go. It was right off the bat. I kind of knew. And
that goes into it a little bit with y'all had to talk. Through the process. Was it nowadays, as kids, it's a little more open, where there was always, if I'm competing against something, let's just throw it out there. Everybody wants to win. Yeah. And they're going to do what it kind of takes. And there's kind of information given there. There's kind of a wall. Was there a wall there?
I think there were some walls.
Because you're looking, all three you guys are, contending for conference championships. Back then, everybody was really good in the 7A West, and it was competitive every week. And, in the coaching part of it was, we all got along, but when it kicked off, we wanted to kill each other. Yeah. And was it more like that, or was it more, hey, we're all buddies, let's all go to Arkansas? Or talk to me about that. The rival part of it, was there walls or not?
I remember the high school rivalry part of it.
That's for sure, yeah.
Because, you were like the big guy at that school, and it's, we got to try and beat the big guy at that school. But when it came down to the actual decision, I don't think there was too much conversation. When did y'all decide you were going to U of A?
Yeah, so once Arkansas offered, I thought I was dead set on Arkansas, and then all these other offers started coming in, and I was like, I'd probably keep an open mind. So I started doing visits and visit as many schools as I could unofficially, because I committed before the official commit or the official visit season during the actual season. But that was just cool to go around and see all these different schools, but they just, they didn't feel right. It just Arkansas felt right, which is obviously where. But I committed. It was the summer before our senior year, and I think we had all before the season started. We had all committed already.
Yeah.
So once we had all committed, especially our senior year when we'd play each other, it was just kind of that. It was like the healthy competition, and then like you said, the walls as well. But then it was almost like we were already, in a way, teammates almost.
At that point, yeah.
Because we knew we were all going to be able to play football after high school, and it was kind of cool thing about being teammates after. So, and we line up and shake hands after games. There's just kind of that, just like a little bit of a bond, I guess, kind of a unseen bond already. But
yeah. And then we went to that Under Armour game together.
Yeah,
which was a wild
we
experience.
roomed too.
Yeah,
we roomed together.
roommates.
That was wild. I almost forget about that.
I know.
sometimes.
It was such a crazy little memory. Going through this stuff, found the old practice jerseys, and went to it was Orlando for a week.
It was Orlando, yeah, for a whole week. It was just after New Year. I think we got there, and
it was
it was during New Year.
It was the Sugar Bowl with when we played Ohio State.
Played Ohio State. Yeah, I remember watching that
because there were a bunch of Ohio State kids there giving us crap all week, and then we thought we had them.
They played good. But
I remember watching that game was intense. The one memory I really have from that trip is Jadeveon Clowney was there. He's playing defensive end, and we had free passes to Disney World, I guess, every night. We went to different parks.
Yeah.
And I remember he walked up to whatever the lady was working there who took the fast passes. And at the time, the fast passes wasn't like for this ride. It was just like a ticket that said fast pass. And he convinced her to give him all those tickets that had fast pass on them. So then we walk around and we have about 200 fast passes. And I mean, we are just looping through rides. I mean, Tower of Terror, get off it, right back on. And then we're just throwing them out to little kids. It was incredible.
Yeah.
But yeah, Jadeveon Clowney at the old fast pass.
It was a bowl game experience before we knew what a bowl game was. That's
it was
pretty much what it was.
Yeah.
It was fun.
That's crazy. We were children.
Oh, gosh.
Well, tell me this. Signing day comes, all right? You're all committed to the University of Arkansas. You go in early, don't you?
Yep.
You go in early? Did any of y'all stay?
Yeah, we didn't go in early.
So you go in early. How nervous are you, Bray, a little bit going in? I mean, you don't even graduate from high school.
Yeah.
And, you're one of the first ones. That's when that was really starting to kids graduate early, getting in early, and that part of it. That was
the crazy thing with that is how easy it was for me. I'm not like a huge academic guy. I'll be honest. Come on. All I had to do was you had to take your last semester English and another semester of math. So I ended up taking college algebra at NWAC and Comp 1 at NWAC over the summer, and so that was done in December. But going into it, for me, it was just an opportunity. If it would have been anywhere else, I don't think I could have done it. Going outside of the state, but being right here from home, had the support from the family and everything. I was able to just go down and start spring ball early, and I had no expectations other than it was going to be some extra time to just adjust before season. And I'm glad I did it. I don't think it was a game changer by any means, but it worked out well.
well, good. Are you communicating with these guys at all during this time?
I'm sure we were.
I think a little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit, yeah.
I'm sure we were. I remember talking to Brandon kind of through that.
I was talking to Austin Beck during that time.
Austin Beck.
Old big baby.
Yes.
Baby.
How's he doing?
He's doing good. He calls me every Monday, by the way.
Does he really?
Yes, every Monday about 6 a.m. because I'm on my way to work to go do our walkthrough at like 7 in the morning, and he always calls me up and asks me what's up. And
I love Austin Beck.
Obviously, he has his sayings and words and phrases that he likes to use.
Oh yeah,
Exclusive.
I need to get him on here.
Oh, yeah. That'd be a good time.
But yeah, no, he's doing good. His daughter's doing good. And he's living down in Fort Worth, Texas right now.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Good for him.
Just
That is
living the
wild.
dream. Yeah.
That is freaking wild.
It's wild that he's a dad.
Yes, Papa Beck.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he could barely take care of himself.
Well, let's go on this. Y'all come on campus in the fall. Now you're all you've played against each other, and I'm gonna get every one of your favorite high school memory, and it doesn't have to be a win or a game. Could be a locker room incident, whatever. And I want you to be thinking that we're gonna get that later on. So now you're going in the fall. You're all in the same room now. I mean, the offensive line. You're there. Talk to me about and I know how that is. You go to college and you always kind of gravitate to that guy that you played against a little bit, or you're from the same area. It's just natural a lot of times. How was the room going into that? Talk to me about that experience.
Yeah, I mean, I just remember being terrified, and I'm kind of like what Bray said. I'm glad that I stayed home in Arkansas, because even though, I was only 10 miles from home, I was still homesick. So it's good to have that family support. Yeah. And of course, Bray, he kind of gave us some pointers because he was still a freshman, but he had kind of a leg up because he had a whole spring there. But it was obviously you're intimidated, especially the upperclassmen that obviously have playing experience. They're bigger than you. They've been there 3, 4, 5 years. But it was. I think there was a good camaraderie, especially in the O-line room. The whole time I was there, just something different about offensive linemen. There's just that camaraderie. But it was definitely a good time.
You just hit something right there. Offensive line rooms and camaraderie. Mm-hmm. You can listen to NFL, college football, even high school football. There's usually not a lot of noise coming out of the offensive line room. You're not getting that. If they handle in-house. It's, here, you're not worried about, I'm not getting this ball or I'm not, this or that. The offensive line room is kind of the judge, jury, and executioner. To be honest with you, it kind of rules the team. I think because it's the most steady hand.
Not a whole lot of drama.
There's not drama because you got to work together, and it's funny. You can watch ESPN. You never hear problems coming out of the offensive line room ever. And
it's a special room. That's for sure.
Yeah. It's the largest unit that has to work together. Yeah. You have 5 guys that everyone has to know what they're doing.
Exactly.
So.
You got to be selfless too. That's for sure.
And we had some good dudes in front of us too. I mean, like Swanson getting us all in line, and look at him right there.
Bray stole that from the university, so
holding on to it. Got a couple things from the university. The old ELS back here. We got some memories in this room.
Oh, we do.
How about? Did y'all see that article about the night? Swanson's night.
I did.
Got passed down.
Kept getting passed down. That's what. 11 years now.
Yeah.
I remember I was in y'all's house. So.
Yes. I can't believe it's still in circulation. You remember that thing?
Oh, the night.
The night. Yeah. It's still being passed down.
Still?
Yeah. Richard Davenport wrote an article about it.
Like last week.
Really?
Yeah. That is hilarious.
That is funny.
We had that, we lived in a 6-bedroom house.
It was gigantic.
Yes. It was massive. It had a hot tub, had a water bed. It was incredible. And we had this, I guess he found a giant statue of a knight. And then ever since then, it just passed down to the next group of offensive linemen.
That's awesome.
And it's still rolling, still in Fayetteville somewhere. Marching on.
I forgot which player that. It's one of the linemen, obviously, that have it, but I can't remember.
Now,
I forgot what the article said.
I don't remember who has it now either.
One of them has, obviously.
Yes, I think.
When did you get a picture of this?
Yes, we could track it down. We'll track that thing down.
There's a picture on the article.
Oh, is there? Perfect. Yes.
We'll send the mouth out on assignment.
Yes,
mouth will find him out there. Let him go.
It's wild. Yeah, Swanson's in town. Swanson, Luke, Charpentier. A lot of the linemen still live around here.
Grant Cook.
Yeah. Grant's come to a couple of our games. He comes to one game a year, usually. He's around.
Grant Freeman, too. He's still around.
Yes, he is. I saw him at a Prairie Grove game, maybe. He's got a daughter maybe in the district. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But I have seen him around, too. Ben Cleveland, saw him there as well. He was a little older than us. He's one of those Springdale guys.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Part of that 05 team, yeah.
I've got right there, actually, that football right there is that 05 Springdale team, signed by all of them.
The Wilson one?
Yep, Wilson up there.
Nice.
All right, that's a pretty strong football artifact up there. Mm-hmm. Go Bulldogs.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, they had a big win last
They
time.
did, man. They got to Farmington.
They got to Farmington last time.
I had to get that film.
Jobs in that part. All right, well, let's go back to this. So, Coach Petrino is there. You guys coming in and all that part of it. Talk to us your time with him, which that can be interesting. And Coach is one of the best offensive minds there is around. I went to a few practices. Coach could voice his opinion every now and then, just like any other coach. But talk to about the time there with who was there?
Coach Klonakis.
Was there. Is
the Union.
Yes, the man that could. There he goes, run down the field like anybody else I've ever seen before. You knew who. I heard a story on it one time. A guy was talking about he would get up in the morning and run.
Yep.
Yeah. This guy was walking. He said he was scared today. He didn't know what it was, and it was coach running down. The
We'd be
street.
going to mat drills at like 4:30. We'd be riding on a scooter together.
He got hit by a car one morning.
Yeah. Oh gosh.
Well, talk to us a little bit about that time period.
Go ahead.
Well, I don't want you to have to edit most of the show out, but no, it was Pedrino. He was in Clonakis. They're both obviously good coaches. They definitely have different coaching styles than you would think of like most traditional coaches. You know, I wouldn't say they're very personable, but they're definitely like Bray already said, or you said. Pedrino has a great offensive mind. So did Clonakis, and Clonakis was a good teacher. Drawing up plays on the board. He was good at breaking it down and then, being able to retain it. So, but yeah, I mean, they were good coaches, but not very personable.
I understand. Marcus?
Yeah, they were definitely hard on you, that's for sure, and they expected pretty much perfection. Mm-hmm. I mean, I remember a time when I was a true freshman, second string, and I was playing like strong guard, and then I switched to quick guard and I messed up on a check, and then Petrino let me have it at lunch in front of everybody. I mean,
oh yeah, no filter.
Yeah, no filter. I didn't mess up again though. I mean, that's for sure.
And I think that's a big part of it is you kind of you understood that.
Yeah, you understood.
Yeah, this is sure it is what it is, but you're going to win ball games if you follow along.
You're definitely. We're all better for it. I think it wasn't necessarily good at the time. It wasn't pleasant, but
I can say this: y'all went to game. I'm just a outside guy looking in. Go to practices and y'all were always prepared. I mean, there's no doubt about that. As far as scheme part of it, I mean, and I was following Coach when he was at Louisville, and they hired him at Arkansas. I was back as a young coach. VHS tapes. There wasn't no DVR back then. Taping his games when he was at Louisville, and they hired him at Arkansas. I was excited just to learn a lot of his schemes. Mm-hmm. And but you were always prepared and that part of it. Well, talk to us a little bit. We got in that time period, but there's got to be a couple of stories out there during that time. I mean, you guys are kind of learning your way early, and you're sitting at coming right in as a freshman, second team, and you guys are one snap away. Some of you are playing during that time. Talk to me just about that growth period as an offensive lineman, how all three of you, because really all three of you are kind of different type players. And so what was the growth part of it your first couple of years there?
My favorite story in talking about Clonakis was then somebody tweeted about it recently. I think Swanson commented on a tweet talking about an adjustment we made at halftime of the A&M game our freshman year. And it was sword protection. I don't know if y'all remember that game.
Vaguely.
Yeah. So we get out there and we're getting our butts kicked in the first half, and we come out and Clonakis brings us up at halftime, and we install a brand new protection in the locker room. Come out there and we ran it with every single pass combination that we called, and it picked up 100% of their blitzes. And that protection adjustment from Clonakis was what won us that A&M game, in my opinion. And I was a freshman at the time, so it could be a completely wrong opinion. But I remember I think about that all the time and how smart it was. And that's kind of what you got with Coach K. If he told you something and you bought into it, you're going to be successful.
He was smart. Yeah.
As far as the growth, I mean, you started the Alabama game. Yeah. Was that your first start?
Yeah. Fortunately and unfortunately, I was able to start as a true freshman. I think it was the first 4 games I believe I started.
Yeah, that's right.
Looking back now, it probably shouldn't have happened. I was pretty unprepared, I think, physically and mentally. Then I was at tackle as well, and I was, for a tackle in college, I was pretty small. And even just the schemes, I made a lot of mistakes, and which is one of the reasons why I didn't play throughout the rest of the season after the 4th game. And then I got a mid-season high ankle sprain that just lingered the rest of the season too. But looking back now, it'd probably been better if I probably redshirted that year. But I mean, it is what it is now. But it's a good experience. It's obviously a good experience. But
you redshirted the next year.
Yeah, I redshirted the next year. Yep.
Yeah. Well, what are your thoughts looking back on that, playing and then
well, glad I did that as well, because obviously that was the last year that staff was here, 2012, and then Bielema came in with Pittman, and I contribute a lot of that to my development with Coach Pittman coming in, because he's obviously a great teacher as well. But he just what was cool about him is he would take each player, because everyone has different learning styles, and he would teach it the way that you would learn it, because everyone learns differently. But obviously I contribute my development later on in my career in college to obviously his coaching and teaching. So,
well, you get that, and let's just get into it a little bit. That whole Bobby Petrino situation, y'all were right smack dab in the middle of it. Mm-hmm. And, it's well documented. We don't think got to get into all that, but what was the mindset of you guys? I mean, because y'all got a lot of momentum going into, just won the Cotton Bowl.
Cotton Bowl, yep.
Yeah. And they're spinning the Sugar Bowl, and y'all got a lot of momentum. That goes down.
Yep.
Y'all
remember that team meeting? When Jeff Long told us that?
Yes. Yeah. It was very tense.
Yeah.
You could cut the air with a knife type situation.
Yeah.
Well, we're in the back. I mean, freshmen
had to sit in the back. Mm-hmm. So
I just remember because we were number 3 in the country that year.
Mm-hmm.
It was us and LSU and Arkansas or Alabama.
Yeah, it was that year. If we would have beat LSU, we would have went to the national championship.
We would have skipped the SEC championship because Bama would have been the West, and then Bama. Yeah, God, that's crazy.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Now, I remember the seniors up front being pretty hostile. Yeah, that was wild.
I think we were just along for the ride.
Yeah,
we were in the back just watching the show.
Yeah,
so I think is this happening every year? How many?
we got our first taste of kind of the business of college football.
So. Grown up world, the way things happen, and that part of it. So Coach Bielema comes in, Coach Pittman comes in, which is his track record as an offensive line coach is noted throughout the country. Him coming in, Chaney coming in.
Chainsaw.
Yes, I love that guy, man. We got to get him on here, man. He's awesome. We'll do that. I love that guy. That guy's a great storyteller all the time. But anyway, you've got those guys coming in, probably culture-wise. Mm-hmm. I went to some practices. It was a lot different than when Coach Petrino and his staff was here. Well, talk to me about the excitement, or are you kind of hesitant? I mean, just what you've been through, trust-wise. As a player, I think, and the coaches, they move on with that trust part pretty quick, just on that part. Well, talk to me about that transition, and then how you hit a little bit about how Coach Pittman had a big influence on your development. Talk to me about Coach Pittman and the development, Coach Bielema and that staff, how that worked.
Yeah, I mean, there was both excitement and hesitation. But I just remember, because obviously one of the first things Pittman did was call all the guys, all the O-line guys. And it's just right off the bat. It's just somebody's personality y'all obviously know. But he just knows how to meet you where you're at. It doesn't matter what your background is or where you're from. He's got the knack for it for sure. But once I had that initial conversation, obviously some in-person interactions, that trust factor was obviously there already. So
Marcus? Yeah, I'd have to agree with Mitch on that. I mean, there was a little hesitation, because you don't know. It's kind of like a blank slate also at the same time. So you're kind of like, well, at least I get a fresh start, And but yeah, I mean, I really loved Coach Pittman. I think he's an awesome coach, a great teacher. He taught me a lot about defense. I mean, I don't remember. I mean, you remember being on all those center meetings, Mitch?
Mm-hmm. Yep, yeah.
And I mean, just sitting there and just dissecting the defense, looking at safety caps. I mean, just going through film after film after film and just learning a lot, which I think has helped me as a coach tremendously. So, yeah.
Yeah, it just goes back to him just being a good teacher.
Exactly.
And those center meetings he was referring to, anyone that was in the center rotation, we meet like an hour before actual team or position meetings and just go into a little bit more depth of that week's install and the opponent we were playing that week, and we break down every single blitz they run and every single play, and check we had to that blitz and pass protection, run game. So that was another big part of my development as well, just getting that extra learning.
Let's hit on that center part, Mitch, with that. And people don't realize how hard that position is to play. I mean, and everybody, the quarterbacks, they got a lot of stuff going on too, but snapping the ball. Number one, remembering the snap count. And I played center a little bit, and I forgot it a few times, and everybody knows it, is snapping the ball. You've got to make all the calls, the protections, the double teams. It starts with you, all that part, snapping the ball. It's got to be a good snap, because if your snap right here could screw up the whole time. And it's interesting, he brought the centers in just like you would a quarterback early and getting those extra bars. Talk to us a little bit, but to our audience, that how difficult it is to play center. And it's kind of like defensive linemen nowadays. Great centers are hard to find. And for your young viewers out there, if you're an offensive lineman and you can learn how to snap the ball, that is a huge edge for you going to the next level. And I don't want to get off on that, but talk to our audience about how difficult, how you have to that extra time in playing center by knowing protections and everything that you got to know as much or more than the quarterback. And a lot of times the center is correcting the quarterback. Nobody even knows it.
Right. Especially in that style of offense that we ran then, the center really did direct all the pre-play, calling the fronts and spotting the mic depending on what the play was, or calling the protection. But it also helped that the two guys on each side of you knew almost just as much as you did, if not more. Especially my senior year, I was, Ragnow was right next to me, and he was also in the center meetings. So it also helped, because there's sometimes I would screw up and he would correct what I screwed up. So it was also helped that you had guys around you that were just as smart, if not smarter, because, it obviously made me look better than I was. So, but I guess there is an extra factor playing center, because obviously you have to snap the ball, especially if you're on the road, crowd noise. Then you have to deal with that, look under your legs, or however you do whatever teams do different snap counts, but or different silent counts. But you can't hear anything, and you're trying to spot or even if like a blitz comes, you're trying to check away from the blitz or check to it, depending on what the play. It's there's definitely an added factor. And then especially when you had to pull, that was always interesting to snap and pull.
Yes.
So, but it was it's definitely a fun position for sure.
Yeah.
I'm a little biased, but I think it's the most fun position on the offensive line. But
I think it's the hardest, besides catching punts.
Right.
I think it's the hardest position in football.
Yeah.
Like catching a football, a punt from a left-footed punter anyway is the hardest thing to do in football. But playing center, your quarterback's got issues, but I think playing center is the most difficult place to play in football.
I completely agree.
I agree. Yeah, it's hard. Yeah.
I mean, at tackle, you kept your dang mouth shut until that center told you what we're doing. And that's kind of, you knew what the play was, but you waited for Mitch to, all right, there's your mic. All right, bet. Now I'm out here. Or, hey, protection, we called jet. Well, which way we sliding? Well, we're waiting for Mitch to tell us, because I ain't making that decision.
Well, and you hit something, too, in all three of it. And people, if you're sitting at home watching the game on TV, and, it's loud, or even when you're at the game, talk to our audience about how loud it is down there, and how you prepare with that during, with the loud music and crowd noise. I know Coach Bielema was real big on that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, every coach is, but how you prepared, and there's got to be some funny moments sometimes where you thought this happened and it didn't happen. There might not be funny moments at the time, but you look back on it now.
Right.
Talk to us a little bit about the preparation for getting prepared to go into LSU at night, preparing to go into Tuscaloosa or Jerry's World.
I mean, you can try and prepare.
Yeah, I was about to say there's no replicating that in practice.
Yeah.
But I remember what we did in practice. We'd go to the indoor and they'd get every speaker they had available, and they'd just blare crowd noise, and it was loud. But I mean, like it doesn't. It prepares you slightly, but.
That game at Alabama, you were starting our freshman year. To me, people ask me, was the loudest place you've ever played? Was it LSU or Jerry's World? It was that game at Alabama. Yeah. And maybe because we were young, but I remember.
We were young, but it was loud. We knew what loud was then.
Yes,
that's for sure.
Yes. I mean, I'm still like Petrino's right where you're at, and he's yelling at me during pregame warmups. I have no idea what he's.
Yeah, and they're heckling us, calling us fat and ugly and stuff, And,
yeah, that's part of it.
Yeah,
part of it. Yeah,
but yeah, definitely. And like Bray said, probably the consistently loudest places that we probably played was Alabama and LSU. But probably the single loudest moment was when we went to Knoxville my senior year, and they took back the opening kickoff. That was probably the single loudest moment that I can remember. But
I wasn't there for that. But
then we quieted down
that
pretty
game.
quick. Yeah, they got quiet pretty quick after that. So
that's right.
Tennessee was real loud.
Yes, it
And
was.
they played Rocky Top the whole night.
all the time.
Oh gosh, it's ingrained in my brain forever.
Well, that's a unique place. Well, we talked about your early career there at Arkansas. Now all of a sudden y'all are the veterans, and you're in the leadership role, and y'all seen a lot of things and had to mature quickly. Talk to us about being homegrown. Now you're in those leadership roles. How much it meant to the pride that you have, and I've heard coaches, and Houston Nutt's real big on this even when he was here. But and every coach that's ever come through here that has ties is, and nothing against kids that play for us from out of state, but that Arkansas kid plays a little bit harder on Saturday than everybody else. Talk to us about the pride that you're the veterans, you getting this thing turned around. The pride that you have as being from Arkansas, especially in this area, playing together in the same conference, and now you guys are the leaders. Talk to us about that era.
I think a big part of that is where we fit into the whole our time there. We get there and we're a dang good football team, and we got Travis Swanson, guys like that who have been in some intense battles and we're great leaders and great players. And you have us, and then behind us is the Frank Ragnow's, Dan Skippers, and another group of very talented, very successful linemen. Mm-hmm. And then the way our careers went, where start on top, a little bit of a divot with that 2012 season, and then you come back and we start building something kind of pretty cool, Coach Bielema and Coach Pittman. And then, or at least my last game was that Texas game. Mm-hmm. And for me, it was a very satisfying final game, and I know y'all went on and had a very successful next year too.
It's always good to beat Texas.
Yes, always great,
especially the last game you play in college.
Yes, but yeah, to me that was the coolest part about all of it was you had the great leaders, all the success, and then we had to battle our way back up to build something again. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, it was our 4 or 5 years there.
Yeah,
like you have different thoughts.
I mean, yeah, it's obviously which I think we all grew up wanting to be Razorbacks, mm-hmm. So it's obviously a dream come true. Being able to play in that stadium, play in front of the home crowd. I mean, it adds a little factor too. You don't want to embarrass yourself either. Kind of gives you a little more fire to want to play better, want to play in front of your family and your home crowd. So yeah, it's definitely in there, and you're looked at different. You being the homegrown players from, especially being really close to Fayetteville, like all of us were. There's definitely something special about it.
Well, and I'll take this, and you guys have no idea of this, is being a high school coach. Obviously, I was coaching in the league, when you guys were playing. But to me, and I didn't know you guys personally. I knew you as football players and knew you were great men, talking to your coaches and the way y'all did things off the field. But as a high school coach, even though I didn't coach you, it's pretty cool to look out there and see Mitch, Smothers, Bray Cook, or Marcus out there. We coached against you, and we all pull for you. Mm-hmm. And we're kind of, I'd watch you guys play, and I'd kind of zero in on what you were doing that day. And I think you guys don't know that, but that goes on more and more guys, people that you don't know that have some connection with you, that are pulling for you and zero in on you and watching your development, how you're doing, and kind of, hey, how's that Bray Cook doing from Harbor, Coach? Mm-hmm. How's this? Those things like that. You have no idea of that, but and it was really a cool time as being a high school coach, seeing a lot of you guys. Brandon was out there. A lot of kids from Fayetteville also were out there playing. I did not have anybody playing at the time. That's probably why I was probably struggling to get some of you guys at the time. But long story short is it was cool to see you guys during that era, and y'all built them. Well, Bray, let's go to this. Is each one of you give me one story, just about the group and one time during a high school moment or a college moment or together. Give me one. Tell me a story.
One of my, I'm gonna go to a high school game. This is a Brandon Allen thing. So we're playing Fayetteville. I think it's the last game of the regular season, maybe. And I think they started out in the lead and kept it the whole game. And
I think I remember this. Yeah,
they're up by like
really well.
Yeah, they're up by not a lot, but they're winning. And there's like 14 seconds on the clock. And all game they would not kick it to Sean Sierran, our deep returner, and we score. They score again, and they kick off, and they get it right to him. 14 seconds left on the clock. Kid goes straight to his hands. He's our best returner. Hadn't caught one all night, and he houses it as time expires to win us the game. And
I remember listening on.
I remember
it was one of the coolest
on the
moments
radio
ever. Yeah, and so we end up beating Fayetteville as time expires, but I think it hurt us in the bracket. This is my senior year.
It screwed the whole thing up.
Don't
get me going on that.
Yeah.
I was so mad about that.
You and us on the same side.
It did. And I'm looking back at it.
You didn't really want.
We didn't want to play Bentonville, and I don't think Fayetteville did either. And I think they freaking kicked them on purpose.
Well, it's funny you bring that up. And we were playing Heritage, and I think we beat y'all earlier that year.
Uh-huh.
It was y'all, and I'm thinking, and us in Fayetteville just did not match up well. They beat us in the semi. We just had a problem. We actually matched up better with you guys at times than we did. I don't know what it is, but I'm sitting there listening to that game. We played Heritage. We're done a little early. Driving back, and they kick it. I'm thinking, good, we're going to get Harbor on over here with us, and we've had a little success. And they kicked it off and screwed the whole bracket up, and it just messed the whole thing up.
Yeah,
and I remember calling Daryl Patton about it, and he started laughing when he wasn't even upset about that. I mean, he was upset he lost, but he was like, "Yeah, we're going to be the 4th seed. We'll see you down there at Thanksgiving." And I was like, "Golly, we can't get away from these guys."
We had to go to freaking Bentonville.
Yeah, sure did. And y'all had some battles.
They stomped us out every time we played.
Yeah.
There's 2 teams I've never beaten: Alabama and Bentonville High School.
It still sticks to your craw.
Yes, I remember the last play. Got pancaked and sacked right in front of your student section. Never forget it. Well, Bentonville.
They didn't let you know over at Bentonville. They wouldn't let you know about that at either.
Our student section's kind of ruthless.
Yeah, y'all doing everything. Yeah, y'all had it going on. There's no doubt.
All right, Mitch, talk to us about college moment, high school moment. What you got one? Everybody's got one.
Oh yeah, probably high school or in high school will probably be which we weren't competing for bracket seats or anything like that. We kind of just got what we got.
Well, I know your senior year, y'all rode down to Fort Smith and gave us all we wanted.
We had a successful. We went 6 games.
Yeah,
our senior year, and there was 2 games we lost by less than a score. So, but it'd probably be homecoming. Obviously, it's at home. We were playing Rogers Heritage, and it was a good game all until it's tied in the 4th quarter, and we obviously kick a last-minute field goal and win the game. So that was exciting, being homecoming, and to win a game like that's always fun. And I guess college would have been probably, there's a lot. Yeah, would have been Alabama in Fayetteville. Remember when we lost by a point? You remember
14-13?
Yeah,
that's my senior year.
That would have been my favorite memory. But
rainy day that day.
Yes, in the retro uniforms.
Yep.
And Alabama could not catch a punt, and Nick Saban was not happy about it.
Fumbled on like the 1-yard line, and it went to the end zone. Touchback, and then we missed 2 field goals, I think. Gosh, that's frustrating.
Yeah, yes, but anyways,
would have been
my favorite memories probably. Would have been Auburn, my senior year in Fayetteville. Went into overtime, and I remember it was, I think it was just one round of overtime. We had to score to win. Obviously, we were the second team to be on offense because the roles were a little different back then. But I just remember being in the huddle and obviously being the center, being in the middle. I was able to look. I just looked in everyone's eyes before we ran the play. And I just knew that we were going to win just by the look on everyone's face. And that next play we won. So we got to beat Auburn in Fayetteville in overtime. So that was pretty exciting.
That's cool.
That's cool.
Yeah. I guess in high school, probably the state championship game when we went down there and we beat Brandon Allen. 49-28.
Yes.
That was probably one of the best moments of my high school career, I guess. Just winning that with all my friends and stuff like that I've been playing football with since I was, 8 years old, I guess. In college, I'd have to say when we went down to Ole Miss and we beat them in, I think we went into overtime.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
The Hunter Heave?
Yeah, the Hunter Heave one. That one was awesome.
Yeah, that's a big one.
I've never been so freaking excited ever.
Yeah, that was a good one too. Yeah.
That was a real good one. But yeah.
That was 2015.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, that's pretty cool. And let's end it with this: is important. And Mitch, I'm sitting there thinking, you, as far as coaching, I mean, you lost a coach in high school, you had a new coach, then you go to college, and the situation with Coach Petrino and that part of it. I mean, y'all been. I mean, you've seen a lot of. You've had to grow up pretty quick and see a lot of things. But what is probably most interesting, I'm putting my coach hat on here, is watching what you guys have done after football, and what every one of you guys here are service giving back to people. Bray, you're head coach at Pea Ridge. Marcus, you're coaching at Bentonville. Mitch, you're a state trooper, and it's a service what you're giving back. And talk to me a little bit how football developed where you're at right now.
Yeah, we all played football, I guess, all of our lives until we got into adulthood. And that's I think the best thing about football is it prepares you for life, gives you life experience, because you have to deal with disappointment, you have to deal with competing, you have to deal with people you don't like, and you have to get along, with people you don't like. So that's probably the best thing football did for me, was prepare me for the life ahead, especially being a parent and a husband and all that. Yeah. So I'd probably say that's probably the single best thing about football.
It's like, because you got to bring it every day. Yeah. I mean, there's no
discipline.
Yeah.
Discipline, resilience, toughness, all that good stuff.
Showing up on time, just basic life skills that a lot of people can't grasp nowadays. Football prepares you for that. So
exactly.
Well, Marcus, talk to me, but you're coaching in Bentonville, and you've been a part of it, and it's not left your system, obviously. But that development, and I think coaching wise, when you've been through the situations that you have, you can relate to those kids a little bit, a lot better than others can. Yeah,
I definitely feel like playing football and doing all the things that we had to go through has definitely helped me as a coach, not only just learning the schemes and stuff, but I mean just understanding what those kids go through. You know what I'm saying? Like, you've been through that similar process, the two-a-days, the grind, and, you just really get it. And, you get to encourage them in a way that really helps them be successful and get through all that stuff and become a better man and a better husband and a better, person all in general, which is really exciting.
That's cool. All right, Bray.
Yeah, no, I'd agree with him. It's cool to a kid will come to you, man, I don't feel good today, or this is bothering me today, or this is going on. It's like, yeah, I know what's going on. Like, we understand. Like, I was there. I mean, now we were talking earlier. It's been a long time now, but it feels like it was yesterday. And
it does.
So it's like, yeah, I understand what you're going through, and I understand what it's going to take to get through it, and I understand what's going to happen when you do come through it. And to me, that's the coolest thing that's come full circle with this football thing. And it's really, with coaching football, has almost, it's very little to do with actually coaching actual football. And in my opinion, what I've come to kind of figure out, it's about building relationships with these high school kids and relating to what they're going through and pushing them through it. And like at Pea Ridge, our biggest thing is adversity is going to strike, and it strikes all the time. And how are you going to react to it? Yeah. And that has been our focus since November of last year. And our kids have bought into it, and they're seeing success because of it. And it all comes down from our experience with playing Arkansas.
Yeah, that's cool. And you guys get it. Isn't it cool, though, when you put the work in and they get to see the success? And then it's discouraging a lot of times. They put the work in, and they might not see it on the scoreboard, but you see it as a coach, them growing as a human being, but also even as a football player, and you guys, it's a breath of fresh air, because you're a generation below me, and seeing the quality of men that are coming out and working with our kids. And obviously, Mitch, I mean, you're working with people daily, day to day, and giving back, and appreciate what you do in your profession, because that's a tough job.
Appreciate it.
Well, Bray, you got anything else here? We're gonna get ready for the Hog game here.
Y'all remember when you helped me move in my freshman year? Do you remember I texted all the freshmen?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
You got me back for this. That's why I'm just. And you,
Oh, yeah, we did get you back.
you got me back for it. Yeah. So in your eyes, how did that story go? Whenever I asked y'all to help me move back,
I thought we were like having like a meeting. I thought we were having like a real quick promptu, like
We got bamboozled.
Yes, you did.
position meeting, team meeting or something. I don't know, but and I was like, oh crap, we better get down there. So get down there. We're helping you move in. It would be good enough guys just to help you move in.
Well, we had with the Walmart. It was the Walmart shareholders meeting. Yeah. So when they come to Fayetteville, like all the athletes had to move dorms for like 2 weeks, and you move back. And I had moved all my stuff out, and then because y'all had just moved in, it's like, hey guys, Petrino's fired up about something. Team meeting at the quad. Like y'all needing to come back.
He scared us into going.
Yeah. And they showed up, and sure enough, we had some loading boxes
Yeah.
ready to roll.
That's a great team meeting right
Yeah, so
there.
the team meeting, got some camaraderie. But then I had a Jeep in college, and the doors and the roof were always off, and I left the roof off one night.
I remember that.
Yeah.
I remember that Jeep.
Oh yeah. Well, basically, me and Beck had stored about I don't know. I mean, how much?
Thousands
of bottles, like plastic bottles.
Oh, it was
It was, I mean, mountains high. I mean,
like a landfill.
like a landfill high, and we.
It's like over a year. Like they had been playing.
Yeah, we had done this for months. We had planned this for months. And one time when you were out doing whatever you were doing, I don't know what you're doing, but we had got a bunch of trash bags, threw all that crap in there, and then saran wrapped your Jeep up and made sure that you, yeah.
I came home just with a saran wrap Jeep full
Yeah.
of bottles to the roof. It was unreal. Couldn't move it. Couldn't do anything.
Oh, it's awesome. Well, he just had a team meeting. He had an individual meeting instead of a team meeting.
Very individual. No, we had some good stories. We had a good group of.
Oh, yeah, we had a
good
great
played
group.
with. Yeah, we did. Some of the stuff I was looking at. I got the union test. Got that picture of us.
Those things were thick.
Yeah, they were.
And I remember we used to get together at Swanson's house and go through them together. That way we never messed up.
Any WTFs in that one?
Oh, I'm sure there's a couple. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I remember he used to write those in there.
We would. We'd sit there, Papa Swanson. Hey, what are the answers? What are we doing? What are we doing here, Coach? And he would print the pictures off. You can kind of see it here, and we would have to draw everybody, right?
Everybody's assignment,
Our
yeah.
package on everything.
Our package for that week against every front and blitz and whatever they showed.
Yep.
That's awesome.
No, this is the real deal.
And then we also had to do scouting reports with that too, and go do meetings with
The
them.
individual meeting on
on Fridays.
It was Friday morning.
Yeah, Friday mornings.
Yeah.
We did a lot of stuff.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
I remember me and Luke's tags up there, stole from his locker too. Luke and I on Thursdays would give each other a hug after practice. Like, man, we made it. It's time for steak and lasagna because it's the Friday night meal.
All the food.
It was so good. That's the best part of playing college football.
Probably so.
Is
Is
the
the
food?
food.
Yes.
Yeah. Unlimited ungodly
food.
amounts of food.
Yeah, and delicious. I mean, it's phenomenal. We had steaks, fish, pasta cooked to order. Oh my gosh.
It was really good. I mean, that helps you be, over 300 pounds, for sure.
Gotta be the biggest O-line
Yeah.
somehow.
Yeah, I didn't have trouble managing my weight in college, that's for sure.
No doubt.
Hey, look at these two. Look at these two children.
Oh Lord.
Isn't that insane?
I was about to say your beard's about as old as
Yeah.
that too, but
There's some. I got a couple pictures of old Southside game. I got all sorts of stuff, man. I went to the archives this morning looking at all this stuff. It's crazy.
what was this from? Oh, when we played.
That's when we
Okay.
played. I would imagine our senior year.
Yeah,
Junior, senior year.
because it has the seniors on.
Does it?
You had a lot more seniors than we did. September 24th.
Yep. Getting old, boys.
Yep.
Yeah, we are.
I hope we post those up so everybody else gets.
Oh, yeah.
those up.
Yeah, we'll let the people see 'em.
We'll get them up there. Yeah. Well, guys, let's end this. And I tell you what, this was a lot of fun. And as being an older guy, it's refreshing. I mean, just seeing guys going on and be successful as you guys have been, and appreciate you guys coming on. Like to have you on again. And
Oh, yeah.
Bray, talk to our audience a little bit how to follow the show and
Yes. So we are on X, formerly known as Twitter. We are also on YouTube at Coaches Pod, Coaches in the Mouth Pod. If you search that on Twitter, X, YouTube, anything, you'll find us. But yeah, we're promoting everything. If you give us a follow or a subscribe or a like, that means we can keep doing this. So please do those 3 things. Helps out. And hopefully we'll bring some more fun content.
Yeah, hit subscribe and like and follow. And guys, appreciate you being on. We'll see you next time. This is Jeff Williams, Bray Cook, our guest Marcus and Mitch. Appreciate you coming on.
Thanks for
see you
having
next
Thank you for
time
having
at
us.
the Coaches in the Pod. See you next time.